Hello, it's Kate here from Womankind.
And I'm Leora from Womankind, and we are wishing you a very warm welcome to Cyclical Living Unwrapped, where we explore the gifts and challenges of cyclical life with experts in the field of menstruation, perimenopause, and cyclical living.
Yeah, that's you, Leora. And also me.
Oh, that's us. That's us, that is.
And this is very sadly the last in the series of this Cyclical Living podcast. There are lots of other episodes for you to enjoy. And to celebrate this closing, we thought we would interview each other with the traditional cyclical living questions. And part of this closing is that our wonderful course, Perimenopause Unwrapped, will be closing in November. So we're having a closing down sale, and it's half price until the 1st of September. And after that, we're closing sales. It's a 21-day program, so you have plenty of time to complete it, but it will be disappearing from sales from the 1st of September. And the link will be in the show notes.
So what we wanted to do was bring our experiences. So we've got Kate, who is postmenopause, and me in perimenopause, with a few challenges, and to give voice to that. And it just seemed like a rather beautiful way of closing Cyclical Living Unwrapped podcasts.
And we wanted to show you how cyclical living and a seasonal understanding is really useful post-menopause. And, hopefully you're going to be living 30, 40 years, maybe 50 years post-menopause. So cyclical living and seasonal understanding can really help you with that.
Yeah. Quite simply, cyclical living is not solely for those who are menstruating.
Yeah, not just for
Hurrah,
Christmas.
hurrah. It's not just for Christmas. So, Kate, let's dive in. I guess the first question, which is overarching in the postmenopause phase, which, as you say, could be decades, is there a way of mapping the seasons in postmenopause?
Well, actually, yes and no. I mean, no, in the sense that I will experience, 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 seasons before 11 is. But also, yes, in that I do feel there is a moon, my energy shifts according to the moon, and that's more
Mm.
subtle for me. So, but mostly I use a seasonal understanding in my everyday life.
Yeah.
Guide me.
Yeah. Yes, I mean the moon as a resource for us throughout our menstruating years, and postmenopause is really grounding, but you say you experience it more subtly, so that it's interesting. It's interesting how it differs for people.
But it
So
also, I also use the moon to really guide when I have serious downtime, when I let
mhm.
go, when I can step up a bit. There's also sort of like a conscious choosing as well as a natural, subtle inner shift.
Mm. Your choice to notice what La Luna is doing up there.
Yeah,
Mm. It's powerful, really, really powerful.
yeah.
Really.
Like I get fried, and I'm pretty more highly sensitive at the full moon, so that's when I take time off.
So another cycle to focus on. But we are looking at the seasonal cycles and really what that looks like for you in this postmenopause phase. So summer, what is your summer superpower, Kate?
I'm quite nervous talking about this. And I got a little hit of cortisol actually. Um, I could say so many things, but the thing that I'm really good at, that I really excel at in my summer is I can give me a fridge full of random ingredients and I can make something absolutely amazing. You know, there
Oh,
was ages
but
ago, there was a, oh, I know what it was. It was Ready, Steady, Cook. And they gave them random ingredients and they,
yeah.
I could ace Ready Steady Cook in my when I'm at summary. You know, I'm generous. I have the mental capacity to figure out, and I'm like, oh yeah, cumin. We have cumin. I have fresh cumin, and then I can put the garlic in, and then the garlic automatically leads to lemon and to smoked paprika, and then bingo. You know, anything is
Wow.
good. Anything is good with cumin, smoked paprika, garlic, and lemon.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put it on some moldy leftovers and turn them into like the Queen's breakfast. But I can't do that, you know, and I can take the time and I can include my family members, likes and dislikes, and I have the capacity for that.
Wonderful. Culinary clarity,
Yeah, and energy and capacity.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah, so that
And and an invite over if you leave out the cumin.
for you, anything is possible. Yeah, so that's my. I think that's my
Mm.
superpower. Yeah.
Oh, that is a superpower to
Yeah,
do
and then I can feed
foodies.
my, you know, I can feed myself. Feeding other people makes them like me more. They're grateful or they're happier, at least, for being fed with something nourishing instead of some piece of old garbage
Mm.
that they would make. So yeah,
I love that. Well, look, I love that. As a foodie, that brings a tingle. So,
and the other thing I'm quite good at is tech. I can do a lot of techs. Like if you give me, I have an idea. Oh, well, maybe I could offer this yoga nidra or this course, and I can go like three taps of a fly's whisker, and I can have it online. And this is because I know you're going to ask me what trips me up. This
hmm
is also what
hmm
trips me up in summer.
Okay. Would you like to expand on those trips?
Yes. So I mean, full of energy and good ideas, and particularly with, I mean, that the tech thing is quite a good example. Is that when I have the capacity, I can create things that are fun in the moment without any idea of the amount of work they're going to cause down the line.
That sounds pretty summary.
Yeah, I mean, and that I think that's out of all
Yeah.
the people that we've interviewed, the many people that we've interviewed, I think most people have said something along those lines.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
the capacity and the expansion and the connection and the possibilities of summer, um, there's always a kickback
Yeah. The overwhelm.
in other seasons. It
Mm.
doesn't seem like such a great idea.
Mm.
Yeah. So these days um I have more checks and balances. You know, I write down the idea rather than just doing it.
hmm hmm
And then
So,
I give it
so out of interest, do the ideas work their way through the seasonal pattern, the creative seasonal pattern?
yeah, yeah. So for people who don't know what that might look like, so the summer is sort of more active and putting things into the world. And then when autumn comes, that's typically for most of us, that's when the inner critic kicks in. Oh, so okay, I'll directly channel my inner critic for you. Oh, Kate, why did you do that? You know, it's too much, and people have a low, you know, people have seen this before, or it's not grounded enough, or you know, whatever, and don't you know that you're going to have to do 5 months of promotion to find enough people to come? And are you
Yeah.
sure you
Yeah.
said you were going to rest more? And blah, 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 you know, all the inner critic stuff. So then so that's the autumnal process. And hopefully the critic doesn't take over. And hopefully there is a bit of actual objective assessment of how much work that is going to take to make this
Mm-hmm.
project
Mm-hmm.
happen, and who I could get in to support me, and what, you know, remembering my sort of my focus for the year and my intentions for the month and whatever, you know, some more kind of elements can come in, and then there'll be a winter where I just drop it all.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
drop might be consciously chosen. I think I'll just put this aside. You know, our teacher, our beloved teacher, um, Claire Murphy, talks about with her poetry, she talks about putting it in hibernation. Is that the phrase that she
Mm-hmm.
used? She puts her poetry in hibernation for a while. And that's a really good practice with everything, and then
Mm-hmm.
gets it out to have fresh eyes in
Mm-hmm.
spring. So that winter might be consciously chosen, or it might be that I just give up and have a massive tantrum and throw it all in the bin. Or this happens like with sickening regularity. I realise I've arranged it on a family member's birthday or something, some dumbass thing. Next question, please.
So we we won't talk about brain fog now. Oh, okay. So yeah, that's so good to hear the clarity of how that creative, well, part of that creative process. It's quite visceral, Kate. So is there anything else that feels trippy in summer?
That's the main thing. That's the main
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's misjudging capacity, I would define it as.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there's
Mm.
something about
Yeah.
seasons where even, you know, even for people like you and I, and we've been doing this a long time and used this seasonal lens for many for decades. There's something about summer, and also, or there's something about the seasons that makes you think it will last forever. You know,
Indestructible.
there's a delusional quality, and
Yeah, there
that's true
is.
of summer, that yes, I'm in,
Yeah.
you know, this is how I am now. But that's also true of winter. That's also true of this awfulness will never end. This collapse is how, you know, we go into a sort of delusional place sometimes, and that depends on our how regulated. Well, I'll own it for myself.
Mm.
I think that depends on how regulated I am. Like
Mm.
if I'm really wired and really, yeah, wired and tired in either pole, then I'll think, well, this is it forever.
Mm.
Whereas if I have a bit more regulation, then I can, oh yeah, it's seasonal and change.
That connection to the seasonal map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you've been superpowering and tripping in summer. I guess the first question, because we usually ask what supports you in autumn, what supports your autumn self, but when do you notice autumn? I'm going to start with that angle
Yeah.
because as you say, you could see all seasons plus more before 11 So when do you notice autumn?
Um, Usually there's I hear some sort of inner critic voice, or I
Hmm.
have some kind of no. Yeah, there's some form of no that arises. So
Hmm.
that might, you know, and that could be any kind of no, really. So that might be a kind of a tension in my shoulders, say, or a more than usual tightness in my jaw,
Mm.
um, or I just don't get up off the sofa. The It's a classic one. Happened earlier, actually, seeing as you mentioned it. My office is near the front, is quite close to the front door in my house, and
Yeah.
the doorbell goes, and I don't get up. Somebody else
Couldn't
can
be
do that.
clearer.
That's a pretty clear tell for me.
Yeah.
Um, Critics will show up. Also, resentment.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
Things like, well, why isn't so and so doing blah blah? It's like, okay, there's that. This is too much for me to hold. Type.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so resentment might be a thing, or straight out rejection.
Hmm.
Again, it's my inner
The
child.
feeling of,
Yeah,
the
I
feeling of.
don't like it. I don't
Oh, I see. Okay, of
yeah,
rejecting other. Yeah.
of the thing,
Yeah.
or of the world, or of the event, or going out, or seeing somebody, or doing something, or that kind of thing.
So it comes
Sometimes
with
it
an
can be a rejection
obstinacy.
of some sort of external world activity, and a longing. So that's what I don't want, and usually what the longing is for quiet, is for space, um, for pottering, and basically cancelling shit.
All the activity in summer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
So that's what's supporting you. That's
Yeah.
that question.
Yeah. What the longing is for is for the is to come back into a relationship with myself. So that I
Mm.
noticed the kind of
Mm.
the noisy critic and the nose and the kind of whack whack stuff first, and then because because we've had excellent teachers through Red School, I know that I need to give myself space here,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that might be a sort of breath
Yeah.
in breath out kind of space. Like, so what season is this? And if you take anything away from this conversation, I would love you, if it's one thing, I would love you to take away the possibility of checking in with curiosity as to what season am I feeling now.
Mhm.
And it's just such a simple and useful practice.
And that's for everybody. You don't have to be postmenopause to tap into that question for everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else supports me is dropping expectations. So once I've noticed, this feels a bit autumnal, it's like, okay, right. So minimum expectations. That dinner, nah, it's not going to happen. It's going to be scrambled eggs.
You can
I
add
don't
your own
care if
cumin,
I don't care if 50% of the household don't like it. It's chuff. That's what I'm having.
add your own cumin, lemon, and garlic.
Um, yeah, and to do less.
Yeah. Which in big wide world isn't always easy for people. Um, with a nod to how hard, on a practical level that can be. But
Yes, and
it
dropping
is
expectations usually is possible.
exactly, exactly. I was going to say that absolutely, and it's that balance, isn't it? Yeah. Thank you. So, if we were to turn the season and come into what winter's looking like for you, what does rest look like for you if we say that winter is a time to rest?
Mm. Well, I'm a yoga nidra nut, so
Yeah.
my first port of call would be to lie on the sofa and listen to yoga nidra. I also am a serial napper, so if it's the kind of winter where I'm just really tired, really, really, really tired, then I will nap a lot. And if I think about the annual winter, I'm snoozing on the sofa, and then I just can't get off the sofa, and it gets darker and darker and darker and darker. And watching the gloaming, watching the gloaming
Mm,
manifest and
mm,
arrive and land
mm,
is just delicious. And having said that, also going out and doing strength class in the winter,
Mhm.
in
Mhm.
the annual winter, going outside and moving is also restful.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the sense that it brings my mind into rest,
Mm.
and it allows my body to soften a bit. So yeah, inactivity is restful, but also activity is, and sometimes somewhere in between. So all of those
Yeah.
things, many kinds of rest. Mm.
Yeah. I think that's what I've enjoyed the most about doing this series, hearing that it isn't simply just go for a sleep, stop doing, read a book. It's actually watch TV. It's so much
Mm.
that there's a roundedness to what is restful for somebody is going to not be restful for somebody else.
Mm.
The scope of rest. So hurrah. So we're turning again the seasonal turn to spring. So, I mean, we'll ask what the challenges and joys are, because spring holds that can hold that for so many people. What is postmenopausal springtime like? Start with challenges.
I bloody love spring. Spring is my thing. Wrote a book about it. um, yeah, I really love spring, and uh, I should also say that it might be useful for people to know that and maybe you also, listener, just the one. My seasons are very much also connected to the time of day. So I'm nearly always springy in the morning, and
Mhm,
then
mhm,
summery early morning, and then I have a sort of quiet autumn after lunch. I get a more productive autumn around 5 until 6:30. That's quite a creative, productive time. Things come back online again. And then
mm,
I'm definitely in winter in the evening. So I'm reliably springy in the morning. And I've become very protective of that and have
mhm.
sort of, I don't know, loosely, I would loosely describe them as meditative practices, but
Mm,
it's more
mhm,
like paying attention to what is happening in my mind to allow. So I might ask, what do I need to know here, or what is what should I be aware of, and then feel into my body or into my mind, so that I have a clear. Because in the mornings my mind is quite clear, so stuff I had no
yeah,
clue about the
yeah.
night before and would do my fucking head in the morning, I'm like, oh, obviously it's blah blah, ding, the little fairy bell goes, and it's like, oh yeah, oh, that's no problem, clearly.
Mm,
So I have a clear mind and access to knowing, and some, stuff just drops in my mind,
mm,
and it's just delicious, and I'm really fiercely protective of that, so
mm,
that
mm, mm.
obviously my phone is going to tell me that I have to urgently attend to something, because
Yeah,
that's what phones
yeah.
do, or there's something very important that I'm missing out on, on social media, that I have to, and I have to really, do some really serious strong arm good mothering to not pick up my phone too early in the day, to protect this time.
Mhm, mhm,
That's when
mm.
that's when the good stuff comes. Yeah. And the
Mm.
challenge. I know you asked me about challenges first. I didn't want to tell you
No,
because I love spring. Why
why
not
go
spring?
there? But we will go there, so
Yeah.
go on then.
But so the difficulty is that I tend to take the baby out into the world too quickly.
Okay,
So I have a
okay.
new precious thing, like little an idea or a project or a possibility, or even just something that I heard that I find delicious and interesting, and I go, oh, because I'm quite chatty in my springs, and I talk really
Hmm.
fast and quite a lot. Like sometimes I'm very like don't say anything at all, and in my spring I'm like, you can tell. So I'm like really talking, I'm getting faster and faster just talking about it. I'm talking myself into a spring here. But I share too quickly and I share too much.
Okay. Well, that's
Like, look
vulnerable.
at the
That's a
baby, look
vulnerable
at the
place.
baby, isn't it beautiful? Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it lovely? I'm gonna love this baby forever and ever and ever. And isn't it wonderful? And look at his cute little tum tum. Ooh, cute little tum tum. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, baby. And the baby's, like
Yeah.
overexposed, and I'm overexposed, and then
Yeah.
it becomes, and then I somehow that too fast overexposure um, takes away the precious magic and the possibility.
Hmm.
It and it often forms the project, the whatever it is, into a rigid shape before it's actually formed. So creative projects particularly have their own cycles, their own energy that is magical and nothing to do with what I think they should look like. um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when I bring things out into the world when they're still in their spring, then that limits the possibilities. And I think
Mm,
that
mm.
that is important. Also, I write stuff down, and often I've no idea what they mean.
Right. Okay. Note taking.
So this is like, what? Some
Yeah.
weird bullshit, Kate. I have no idea what that is later, but there's something about the honoring of that preciousness
Mm.
without overexposing it that is quite important.
And it's so vital to have that awareness of the vulnerability that can be put out there in our menstrual spring, in our creative spring. Because that's part of the caution, isn't it, of spring? Don't share too quickly. It's
Yeah. Or at least not
yeah,
with being aware of finding the right person and the
yeah,
right timing as well.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
always a bad idea, but it's a good idea to be cautious. I think. Mm. I share
Because
stuff
it
with
is a
you
tiny new baby. Yes,
because you're safe. Hmm.
we have baby sharing, creative baby sharing. Yeah. Okay. So, I okay. One last question that's coming to me with a postmenopausal bent rather than the menstrual is if if you're experiencing the potential of that cycle turning really quickly throughout the day, and it sounds, from what you're saying, that circadian rhythm that you're very aware of is you're really taking care of that. Um, what what would you say overall, because of the speed of things moving, of how how overall you take care of yourself with that? Because to describe it sounds, with somebody with, from my perspective, sounds quite overwhelming. So how do you take care of the possible speed and the amount that's going on cyclically, seasonally?
Mm. It's mindfulness
Mm,
because I always get it's noticing. It's that, oh, it's this, it's this feeling. Oh, what
mm,
season is that? Oh, it's a bit like that at the moment. Huh, okay. But then there's a conscious choice, right? There's a conscious choice about how much am I able to care for that? How much does it need caring for? You know, and shit, I power through stuff.
hmm hmm
You don't often get people in our in our niche, saying, yeah, well, I just power through. But sometimes that's necessary.
Hmm.
There's going to be repercussions,
Hmm.
for sure. But I think I have an increasing, and I am absolutely my capacity, current capacity is like in written on my forehead in biro, 10%, be careful,
Yeah.
80%.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
cool. I'm always like really, really super aware of what my capacity is and
Yeah.
what it might be like next week or next month. It's like I'm always reining stuff in. I'm always like probably too obsessively looking at my diary,
Hmm.
um, trying to manage my capacity. And that's basically mindfulness about, okay, so where am I now? And what does this need? Where's my capacity?
Mm. Mindfulness and nervous system
And
fullness
nervous
as
system.
well.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Does that answer your
Well,
question?
thank you, Kate. It really does. Yeah, I think it's important because to create something that moves at such speed or can move at such speed, it's good to know how to take care of that.
Good to know when lunch is, I find.
It's always good to know when lunch is, Kate.
Okay, over to you, Mrs.
Go on then.
So,
Far away.
would you like to share where you feel you are in the perimenopause process?
I feel like I feel like my reproductive system is in perimenopause. I feel like the rest of me is postmenopause. So there's a bit of a going on. My body might not, okay, maybe not postmenopause, but in a menopause state. So in a very wintry, very, yeah, okay, not postmenopause, in a wintry state, um, extraordinarily wintry,
So
which
for people,
guides my cycle.
so for people who don't know, a perimenopause body will likely feel more autumnal. Is that the case for you?
Yeah, yeah. So if a listener wants to head into a seasonal map and look at what the menstrual cycle looks like and how that real autumnal state of pre-menstrual, what that looks like. Perimenopause is yes, the supercharged version of that. So it is a deeply autumnal state. And I'd say but quite often with a foot in winter as well.
Mm.
So I've been perimenopausal for a very, very long time. So nearly 55. So I am going to medically be heading towards post, a late menopause. So as a call out, hi, whoever else is out there,
Still fucking
heading
ovulating.
in
What
in
the hell?
late menopause, or so I guess my psyche and my the physicality feels as though I am in that winter state, but my reproductive system, my hormones, neurotransmitters, they're doing something else. So I'm balancing and juggling an interesting picture.
Mm. Do you remember back in the day when you were you were not perimenopause? It just reminded me what you were saying. So this was like a decade or more ago, like 12 years ago, and you'd say, "Hey, Kate, bibbidi bibbidi bibbidi, we could do bibbidi bibbidi bibbidi." And I go, "You remember?"
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I was in perimenopause, and you went, and And one of the things you said was that you knew that I was out of menopause and into second spring because I started saying yes again.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And here we are
Absolutely.
closing womankind.
Closing womankind for lots of reasons, but you know, the, it's clear from what we're sharing today why that is as it is, and look, we're holding it beautifully and
Mm.
lovingly, and um, but it's clear why. So yeah,
Thank you for sharing and giving us a bit of perspective about your seasonal atmosphere. That's
mm.
really helpful to hear. So from that wintry autumnal cloud, do you get a glimpse of summer ever? Or do you have
Yeah.
to speak, do you have to remember how it was?
No, no, I don't, because this nearly 55-year-old body of mine is ovulates like a 20-year-old. So um,
Mother of God, you
it's
can't get enough estrogen.
I get, so another shout out to the women, to the people out there who have a real estrogen dominance.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh,
God.
there's a lot of discomfort in there. So
Do you need to
um,
say what estrogen dominant means? Everybody
there's
get
just
that?
too much fucking estrogen hanging around. I'm just gonna, just say that. So the physical responses are, yeah. So all the things that estrogen bring, let's not go
Okay.
biological, physiological, but there's too much estrogen hanging around and far too early. So for me, but but okay, so what summer is, and we've talked about superpowers. They're there. The superpower is there in that, well, number one, we're sitting here doing a podcast in my menstrual summer, so I would have to probably not be
That's
doing
why
this.
you're wearing pink.
There
Ta-da.
we go. Um, yeah, being able to do something like this in my menstrual summer doesn't feel hard. It comes with some flow and ease and joy. So hurrah, that's great. So because I find it easier to be kind to myself in the summer that shows itself. Um, yeah, I am just so aware of when that estrogen rise comes. Um, on a physical level, it's very clear what my body's doing, but also libido changes and all the good stuff that comes with having more estrogen. Um, but it also brings about possibility and what yeah whole just being with possibilities and um, connecting to the outside world in a way that can feel very challenging at other times in my cycle with my particular situation. So,
And what trips you up?
what trips me up is, in my case, is the speed that ovulation comes. So the speed that summer comes around um, is my pattern, my hopefully later perimenopausal pattern is that I'm ovulating around day 7, or start ovulating around day 7, which means I am literally galloping through my cycle. And it's exhausting because I don't have a chance to have any kind of R&R after winter, which I'll explain is a huge challenge. Um, and also while I'm still in a summery kind of, well, the estrogen is well, okay, I'm naming estrogen, but while the feeling of summer is still there, I literally the day after ovulation finishes, so on a physical level, I start having hints of pain of adenomyosis, which I have. So it's there, kind of. So one day it will feel possible, and then the next day it'll be okay. This is going to feel pretty horrific in a few weeks' time, so in a couple of weeks' time. So the speed is what trips me up the most.
Has that changed your relationship to ovulation? Knowing
Um,
2 days later,
or
pain.
in this case, or nearly a week later, can't
Mm.
can't really predict what these phases are going to do. But yeah, in a few days, yes. I mean, there sometimes an irritability or beyond comes around, knowing that I am physically ovulating, which guarantees me pain and horror in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm there's both. I'm aware of this more openness to the world, with also, oh fuck, we know what this means. So there is that. But that doesn't that's the openness tends to be there more than the oh fuck.
Good.
Get that?
That's a relief in your summer. And what supports you? So clearly we're talking about autumn coming early, there being pain arriving, kicking in. What supports you in your autumn?
This is going to sound corny because of what we're doing here, but it's true. Cycle awareness supports me.
Say more.
Knowing what is happening and why it's happening supports me. It's this really solid container of um, knowing not ex that it's not an expectation, because oh God, when an autumn for me is easier, doesn't happen very often, but when an autumn for me is easier, um, I embrace that with open arms. But knowing that the autumn is going to be as it is, and held in that cycle awareness container, that menstrual cycle awareness container, is hugely supportive, like massively supportive. And I never underestimate it, and I'm always grateful for it
Mm. And how long?
because
Yeah.
because um, the drop that I experience, that summer drop, and the hormonal drop, and then the neurotransmitter drop, um, it becomes, unfortunately, it becomes um, what is known as PMDD. So I have a very horrific time, PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which is another supercharged version of something, and that's a supercharged version of PMS. It's rather, it's a beast of a version of PMS, um, where those feelings, so from the map that we share and that we learnt from Red School, the phase of separation that can come, and the void time that can come in later autumn, it is truly unpleasant. So again, knowing that with to have that cycle awareness, holding that is just wildly important and part of yeah, wildly important holding that feeling of wanting to separate. So it's hmm, sometimes there's it you know being with capacity is something that yeah, sometimes there's an autumnal push to I guess the equivalent of life editing. So I'll have a just a brief energetic push to get shit done. So, within my capacity and capability, um, which feels quite good. So when the PMDD isn't screaming, then um, it's noticing those moments of getting, whatever it is, whether it's part of writing, whether it's part of part of a course that I might have done that needs some attention, then that it will be easier to do that then.
Mm.
So that's supporting me as well.
Mm. And you mentioned something like something about neurotransmitters. Do you want to say more about that? Because I think that people might find that useful to understand more
Yeah,
the relationship between luteal phase, autumnal
yeah.
time, and neurotransmitters. So I know that you've
So with the drop of estrogen and progesterone, the hormonal matrix has a direct effect on neurotransmitters like GABA and serotonin and dopamine. So the things that are there to give you some joy and happiness and satisfaction, and they drop away. You can dig out, um, research papers on this connection. It's out there. When estrogen progesterone drops, then the neurotransmitters drop as well. So um, I because I'm so connected to it through our work, but through my living of it, it's almost I see them just they're at the top of the slide, and whew, they go off they go. And not much is talked about that in the cyclical world. It's all yeah, we focus on the hormones we know, but these other set of hormones and neurotransmitters are so important to talk about.
and there's another layer with neurodiversity as well that where that can really
Mm,
the
yeah,
change in the neurotransmitter picture and in relationship to hormones can really have a profound effect for people who have ADHD or autism
yeah,
or feel that they're neurodiverse. And
yeah.
mm,
Well, yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that as part of my picture, but yeah, I mean that is a thing. ADHD is a thing. So that connection to dopamine and the drop off um, probably weaves into why my premenstrual experience is so extreme. So it's one day, a little bit of research will be done to link all of these things
yeah, and a big shout out
and serve us.
to Adele Wimsett, who does a lot of work in this area and has
Mm,
a deep and profound knowledge and commitment to it. So we'll stick
mm.
her in there.
Sticker in the show notes.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and what about rest? How do you like to rest?
Um, well, rest is it, it's a little game that my body plays because um, I I feel like I'm shouting out acronyms of, and this is what I do. There are acronyms that lead my life that really are all very, very interconnected. And one day the medical world will be able to connect them. But as we are, um, yeah, the I'd say the two biggest challenges that I deal with rest is that I am juggling ME, CFS, and adenomyosis at this wintry time. So with ME, there is, there's rather unreasonable amount of rest required. And is it really rest? Fatigue is bonkers. So um, what might look like rest is actually just not being able to function. So that's different. It's not rest. So when I take a nap, it's not out of, oh, I'm tired, I'm going to have a nap and then be refreshed. It is body conking out. Um, and because of the pain that I experienced with the adenomyosis, which to give myself some, um, I don't know, a visual, I named Cujo. So this pain is a rabid dog. Um, because I it's not, well, I can rest during winter, rest while I'm bleeding. Again, it's conking out from the pain, and if or not being able to conk out from the pain because it's so intense. So to me, which you touched on with your own experience, it's more, proper rest to me is if I'm able to take a walk, take a slow walk in the woods or in the fields, or maybe take my camera out and take some images that bring me pleasure. So rest is kind of touching into pleasure. Now I know that while I'm bleeding, that deep winter, none of that is going to be available. So it's the before and after of what's possible, how I can touch into yeah, getting my legs to move and being able to have a feeling my tread on the ground, on the earth, on the fields. That's when I feel rest coming through me.
Which beautifully segues into my question. So, what does it feel like? How do you know when you're resting? What is the quality that you connect with inside yourself that tells you
Um,
something is rest?
I guess there's a feeling of regulation in my nervous system that I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting or flighting or freezing. That actually I'm present and aware of what's around me, that I can take in what's around me and get joy and feel something about what I'm looking at. Um, yeah, it's a sense. So rest to me is a sense of ease and regulation.
Thank you. I think it's really interesting for all of us to try and touch into what rest, what effect rest might. How do we know when we're doing something restful? Because often the
Mm,
things that we think should be restful are not.
yeah.
Like, for
And do you know what? That's so important because I am utterly gutted because I can't listen to your voice more, Kate, or other
really,
yoga
will
nidra.
I
It's
bore
I
you,
can't.
Leora?
No, no,
Will
no,
I
no.
drive
I
you
don't say.
mad? Like whanging on in your ears again. Leora, Leora.
I'm going to
Silent
explain.
scream.
I would love yoga nidra to be restful for me. Absolutely love it. The everything about yoga nidra is so beautiful, but whether it is this neurodivergent system of mine, I find listening to yoga nidra very, very stimulating. Uncomfortably stimulating, and spent a long time using yoga nidra and going, why am I not experiencing, what is this? And I just thought, look, I'm just gonna be with as beautiful a practice as it is, and as beautiful as the practices you put together, my Kate. I, Something happens in my system that quiet is not something that I can touch. So I think that's why it's gentle movement,
Yeah.
if it's possible,
Yeah, because
is
we
is
know
where rest is.
from our nervous system understanding that bodies need to move in order to let go.
Yeah.
They're going to move out of a
Yeah.
kind of a fearful or an activated state, then yeah, just lying down like this, going, I must lie down and be still and listen to this yoga nidra, although she's she's wanging on again and she's driving me fucking mad. It's not going to relax you.
Well, that ain't true, but there is an element of truth in being
Sometimes,
being
yeah,
told that to
yeah,
lie down is the only way to be resting.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Let's blow that one up.
shall we? It's done.
Boom. So what's next? Springy. So
Yeah.
let's. Where do you want to go? Do you want the challenges first? I'll leave it up to you where you go with it.
So yeah, we ask what the challenges and the joys are. I can't even bloody tell you, Kate, because I don't get the time to experience spring. Um, or if I do, it is only in the form of a challenge. So the reality is, at the moment, at this point in my perimenopause experience, is that I will bleed for 3 days, hanging out with Cujo. Um, Day 4 and 5, it's as if that monster of PMDD comes to visit again. So that's going on day 4 or 5, and then day 7 I might be ovulating. So where's spring? Where's spring? I can't really talk about.
Mm.
I could say that it's just all a challenge because there's no there's just fragility about this point. Um, so I can't really talk about the joys because it's just a very, very fragile time. And then bam, bam, I'm into summer.
Back in the day, like in your 30s,
Mm.
did you experience spring some
Yeah.
gentle?
Yeah, and even in my 40s, this very um, early early summer experience is a 50s thing. So it's my 50s. Um, but yeah, so yeah, I was very aware of the vulnerability, and because I have come to realize that the PMDD experience has been there ever since menarche, really. Um, that I've come to understand why I felt so vulnerable after my in early spring, and what that felt like. So that challenge has been there for many, many years. Um, and why was the critic so loud? Why was the critic so loud? I remember in our training we were kind of pushed towards, if you hear the critic in other seasons, in spring or in summer, um, you know, tell the critic that that is not the time to speak. And what I've learned is to welcome in that critic is there. There's something going on physically, biologically, that is bringing in the critic voice. So I would say, I'm happy to welcome the critic in all seasons, um, and listen to the wisdom and deal with the critic as we are taught to listen for the wisdom and accept that it's not going to be delivered in a kind way.
No bad part.
So was that
No bad parts.
no bad parts?
If those don't know, I'm referencing a book by what's his name? We can't remember. We'll find
My recall. Ho, ho.
It's an internal family systems book.
Richard Richard Schwartz.
Richard Short, that's right.
There we go. Okay.
And what supported you in your spring back in the day?
Well, I guess, well, I mean, and to be fair, because springs were longer in 20s, 30s, 40s, then I would have that more gentle build up to summer. So I would experience um, ease, ease and joy and um, the ability to touch into possibilities in a more playful way than the solidity of the possibilities that I experience in summer. It's like, yes, this is possible, but it's got that, it's got that feel of lightness in spring. So I do remember that. I do remember what that felt like. Just doesn't happen now.
So for anybody listening, it will be blindingly obvious what a courageous and awesome human Leora is in holding herself with so much dignity and grace through these challenges.
Oh, thank you.
So
Thank you.
I
Thank
know I
you.
just have mentioned that, but it's just blindingly obvious. I see.
But do you know that doesn't come without support from dear darlings like you in my life. Or you being in my life is a massive support, and and what what we have learned and what we've been able to teach. I think if we hadn't had our time together in womankind and what we've done with womankind, then who knows what this would be looking like for me. So this has not been me alone. This has been everything that I've learned, everything we've learned, and everything we've done means that I'm sitting here today, able to share this. So thank you, Mrs.
Thank you. Hmm. Yeah.
So go on,
Yeah.
give
Yeah.
a
So thank
give
you.
a
Thank you for listening, everyone. I hope that our different seasonal experiences have been useful for you. And I'm just going to remind you again that the course Perimenopause Unwrapped, which we were looking at the other day, and it is a particularly marvelous specimen of courses. It's like, wow, that is really good.
And I'm going to state this here before we go off.
Yeah.
I am going to do it. I am going to do our course.
You better chop chop because it's going to vamose.
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to do it. Why not? Hey.
You're always going to do that, and it's only but it's for those who are purchasing. It's only going to be available till the 1st of September, and you get 50% off, and you get access to it until the 1st of November. Is that right? Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So if you're curious about your inner seasons, what we've been talking about, and you're in perimenopause, I highly recommend that you take a look and see if it's your thing. It's very reflective and brings you into your body. so that you can understand what's happening. And as Leora says, give yourself this beautiful holding of cyclical understanding that will help you move from fear and what the fuckery into trust and compassion. And Leora hasn't finished. Although Womankind is closing, Leora hasn't finished yet. She's writing some good shit. Tell us about your good shit, please, Leora.
Yeah. So, as womankind will be going to bed. And my work with clients is has been on hold for some time. The writing fairy has been with me, and the writerly life has been with me when it has been possible. So it's been really bloody slow, but it's there, and as active as it can be. But yeah, there's a couple of books in process, and will be arriving when energy and capacity allows. But yeah, so the first one is a small little thing, a small little thing of a book, a little companion that you could keep with you, looking at the transitions through grief, of the transition of grief in its many forms. It is going to be a poetic memoir, but hopefully we'll speak. We'll speak, and then the bigger book that has been taking form, but is under the duvet at the moment, is is a book about living your most vital life with chronic health challenges, which I think I might know a little bit about.
I think you have authority on that.
Mm. And you, Kate,
Yeah, well, books
my
what they
my
do.
authorly pal.
Yeah, I have a couple of books. The Second Spring, which wouldn't have ever existed without Leora, and also the Perimenopause Journal, which helps you to put the understanding of cyclical awareness into practice. And I have another thing to share with you, that if you're a wellbeing professional and you either work with people in perimenopause, or if you're in perimenopause yourself, I'm holding a completely yummy retreat day on the 28th of September. It's a Sunday, and it's in this gorgeous location at Hatfield House. It's just magic there. And you can come and drop your bundle and really sort of soften into a community of like-minded people who get where you're at, and to deepen your relationship with perimenopause personally, deepen your understanding with it, so you can get more clarity on how you want your work to develop and how to work within your capacity.
Oh, I think we had a glitch there. Do you want to just repeat that little bit at the end?
Which bit? Which bit? What did you hear?
Um, I think you glitched after dropping your bundle.
Oh, right. Okay. So yes. So you can put your work to one side, and in this retreat space, you can deepen your relationship with perimenopause, and that will really help you, whether you're in it or not, to get more clarity on how you want your work to develop.
Good stuff, Kate. Really good stuff. Really,
Yeah.
really good stuff. So, even though this will be our last cyclical living unwrapped, you can find the whole series on YouTube, its own little YouTube space, and under Kate's own series of podcasts, Life and Inside Job. And that's wherever you get your podcasts from.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank, thank you, Kate.